Good evening. This is part one of a four-part look at entity relationship modeling. So the first thing we need to review real quickly is, what do ERDs depict? And we know that they depict entities, and along with the entities, to describe those entities, they depict attributes. And our attributes describe the entity that we have created. The other thing that we need to keep in mind is that between our entities we have relationships. Now, up to this point, we have looked at the relationships between of the rows within a table. But now, in tonight's lecture, we're going to look not at a row, but at the relationships of tables. Now, if you think back to Chapter 3, we have two different types of notation that we can use. One is the chin method, and the other was the crowfoot. And if you think back to the chapter where we studied the chin and crowfoot notations, you'll remember that the chin notation was the first, and then it was expanded on when we developed the crowfoot notation. So if we take a look at an entity using the chin notation, we'd have a user, and we put that user inside of a box. Now, if we wanted to add attributes to that user, the way we would show those attributes with the chin notation would be in this manner. We'd create a little balloon, or you might want to even call it a lollipop. And this is how we would show those attribute relationships to the entity using chin. Now, if we go to crowfoot, you'll remember that crowfoot is just a little bit different. We start off with our entity, again, user. But this time we're going to put user in a rectangle. And that rectangle is subdivided in two ways, as you see on the screen. And so our attributes under the crowfoot notation would be done like this: name, password, and ID. Now, what we want to add to these is a way to indicate what our primary key is. So if we go back to chin, it's very simply done by underlining the attribute that's the primary key. In crowfoot, we take a little more positive approach, and in the smaller column we indicate the primary key. The Chin and Crowfoot notation systems are very easy to use. Start very simply with your entity, and then add your attributes, consider your candidate keys, and then indicate them appropriately on the notation method that you selected. As you work on your class projects, you want to make sure that you include a notation of your entities in your paperwork.